the next section is about the datetime in pandas. So in atmospheric science, we of course always need to deal with data that has a time dimension, and it's really annoying to deal with time dimension because you have different data format for datetime. For example, the datetime format and string format, and for like so on and so forth, and it has continuous sense. So you need to consider a lot of things if you deal with datetime data. So pandas has a really powerful function for datetime, and it has some convenient functions that helps you to deal with these datetime data. So we always use pandas when we need to deal with the datetime data. So for example, in here, so in pandas, the timestamp is a basic component of a datetime. So to generate a timestamp in pandas, you use this function, timestamp function in pandas. So for example, here I generate a timestamp data of this date and time. This is 0 UTC. And if you want to create a date range, a range of date and time, then you can use this function, date range function. And here I have a few arguments that you need to add to the function. For example, I have this one. This is the start of the date range. So this is the start. I don't want to specify it. I cannot specify. Yeah, start of the range of the date, and then the frequency is like the time step between each of the elements of this range. And then period is the total of the element, it's the number of total elements. So when I run this command and then I assign this date range to this variable and then I print this variable out, you can see that I have a range of date time. So you can see the step between each element is each hour. And then the period is equals to 48 means that it has 48 elements in this date range. So it generates a date range starting from this date time, and then it ends after 2 days later because I have a period of 48 hours. So these are the arguments that you can add in this function. And in this function, date range function, you can also specify the start and also the end. You don't really need to use the periods if you really know what the end day is. So for example, date range here, I have a start. And I can also have an end here. So I just copy this one. So this is, and then 23. You also need to specify the frequency as well. So the step between these two ends. So it creates the same result. So this is the other method to create a date range in this function. If you know the start and the two ends of your date range. And here, if you look at the date column of this data frame, so I just print the date column here. You can see the data type is object. Well, the object in pandas is actually a string here. Sometimes, like pandas does not always use string to. I mean, it has some condition. It has some condition to use an object to represent the string here. So yeah, I think I didn't look deep into it because it's not really important here, but yeah, it is actually a string. So don't be mistaken by this object data type. So if I want to convert this string data format into like a datetime format, then I use this toDatetime function in pandas. So you can see the data type of this data column changes to datetime 64. 64 is the number of bits to represent this datetime. And then, yeah. And then here, well, sometimes you have some very strange string. For example, if you have something like 12, 10, and then here, you don't know which of these is the month, right? Because it's, yeah, you don't know which of these is the month. If you want to specify it, you can use this format parameter. So in here, this is the parameter that specifies the format of your string. So for example, if you look at the string here, or here, you can see that this is, the first one is year, and the second one is month, and then this is the day, and then this is the hour and the minute. So this is in the format of these are the format codes, and then you may check the format codes of datetime in this website. And basically, there are some format codes that can help you to specify the components of the datetime. For example, you have this one as Sunday, Monday, and so on and so forth. And if you go to here, the percentage sign D, you have the day of the month. So it's 1 to 31. And so you can specify the components of the datetime components of your string, and then help the function to know that which component in the string is the year and is the month, and so on and so forth. So if you swap this one, for example, if you swap these date and then month, it will have error because it can recognize a 13 month. So you can see that this string does not match the format here because it doesn't have a 13 month. So this is the trick if you have maybe some really strange format of string that you want to specify some of the datetime components in it. Oh, sorry. And here I want to change the date column of the data frame from string to datetime format. So I just type this command and then replace the original date column to a datetime for data format. And this function is in function. You can see here. So this DRG I specify like in some of the previous cells, but if you print it here, you can see this is a date range between this date and this date, and the frequency between each of the steps is 1 hour. So if you use this function is in function, it helps you to select data inside this column that has these components. So if you see here, it just select the data that has these things in this array, and then just select those data here. So you can see, yeah, these are the date range here. Okay, and so if you use toDatetime function, you can convert a string to a datetime. And you can do it vice versa by using this .strftime, string f time, something like that. And for example, if you use this here, if you put the today argument in this toDatetime function, it outputs the datetime of today. Okay, so maybe I just comment out here and then let's look at it. Okay, today is it really 24th of May? Yeah, it's correct. And then it is in UTC, so we need to plus X to convert to HKT, and yeah, it's correct. So here I have a datetime of today, and then I want to change it to a string in some kind of format. You will need to see the format codes in this website to know that what these format codes represent. So for example, here I change it to a string here. You can see this will become something like this. This is formatted string. And you can print the D type of it. Is it D type here? No, because this is a string, so you need to have a type. And then you can see this is a string. Type a timestamp and string. And other than the timestamp component in pandas, you also have a time delta component, which specify the difference in time, like 1 hour ago or many days ago, something like that. So to create a time delta, one method is to subtract or add the two datetime together. So for example, I want to know how many days ago we have been after the first day of this year. So, well, it has been like 143 days already. And here you can also specify a time delta using this function. So for example, because this one is in the format of UTC, so I want to change it to Hong Kong time, then I can add an 8-hour time delta in this daytime. This is like a daytime timestamp. And I just add the time delta here so that it converts automatically to the HKT. It converts to HKT because I add an 8-hour to this object. Okay, so do you have any questions up to now? Oh, okay, let's move on then. And in pandas, you can also plot the data in the data frame using a dot plot function. So this is, again, very similar to X-ray. So in X-ray, we have something like ds.plot, right? So this is like a data set and they apply plot function here. So in pandas, we also have this one. So this is the data frame that we specify in previous cells, like long ago. You can always check what is this data frame is by printing it out. This is the data frame that we have assigned before. And if we want to plot maybe a line time series of the temperature, then you just need to specify the x-axis as maybe the time dimension and the y-axis. So you can get something like this here. And of course, you can always use the matplotlib approach, like create a figure first and then axis and then so on and so forth. So this is just a function in pandas that helps you to maybe quickly scan through your data by making a plot here. And in this function, you can also add arguments to the function to customize your plot. So for example, you should all know these, right? And you should all know these, right? Labels and titles and the grid and the figure size. But this argument is a little bit tricky because XCompat, this argument is only supported by pandas, I think. This is basically an argument that helps you to format your x-axis because sometimes you have dates as your x-axis, and sometimes these are the string, and if you didn't format it, it will just horizontally put in here and then they overlap to each other.